was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. That was one of our first really big stages kind of to play. And the Polish fans are like wild. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to go back.
Spinning, clapping, laughing, dancing.
Just like it was crazy. The show was amazing. The whole tent was like going off.
In the blackness of magic, get it, have it, bag it.
We toured the first album for long enough that we played a lot of festivals, and we were lucky enough to kind of try some things out. And there's some songs on the album that were definitely kind of crafted for festivals. So we can't wait to see how they go. Kind of.
Throw yourself on the airplane and fly like magic.
We were really lucky to have Paul Lafley, my favorite artist, do it for us. And he is a visionary of sorts. He has these lucid dreams where he sees future technologies and he walks around them and studies them, and then he wakes up and paints them. And he has a chip in his brain, a perfectly cylindrical like chip, lodged right where your spine meets your brain, like in the nervous system. And he thinks it's an extraterrestrial piece of technology, and he thinks that Leonardo da Vinci had the same chip because he invented the helicopter 500 years before his time, and he was way ahead of himself, the culture, and they all thought he was crazy, but then he ended up being right. And so Paul paints these blueprints of technologies like time machines and explanations of ways to use energy or to create energy that we can't do now. And this album cover is a blueprint of how to create utopic space. And if you read, there's print everywhere. It's all explaining how to create utopia, basically. And yeah, we feel very privileged to have had him do it for us.
No chance, no need, forget about it. One life, live free, big.
Yeah, it's my idea. I saw his first show actually, first international show in Berlin 2 years ago, and that's when I first found out about him.
Dreams were all about them. You're finding it, take it in, it's all here.
We put ourselves, this album, the first album we were really interested in Basque culture, and we still are, and we realized that the deeper we got into the roots of Basque culture, that it actually, there's a point in humanity, like 15,000 years ago, and even earlier, where everyone had this collective understanding of existence on Earth. And you look at the cave art in France from 35,000 years ago, and they're depicting the same images and same experiences as the South Americans were, and the Native Americans north from there, and in India. And you have, we basically realized that Basque culture is really kind of late in the scheme of documented creativity. And so we put ourselves in the mindset of those first cave artists who had that first initial spark to create and document it. And so we decided to call it Cave Raid because that's where the first creativity is really found.
You and me, no one else, nothing else but us right now. And I ain't need nothing else, no one else but you and I, and it ain't me.
It was an amazing experience for us. We, to have that objective opinion, A, but B, to have the person whose opinion is somebody who's had so much experience in live music. He's been a bassist his whole life and played with every band you ever heard of, basically, from Beck to Nine Inch Nails. And now he's producing music, and so he understands what it takes kind of in the live format to go off, to make people dance. And we learned a lot. It was great. And in the end, I think this album has a more consistent sound than the first because of it.
It ain't you, it's only us, it's us right now. You finding it, take it in, it's all here.
The visual thing, we have like different visual kind of installations for different shows depending on kind of the setup. But what we want to be doing, a lot of bands, I think, visually in terms of what's on stage or visually in terms of us, or everything. I think the visual basically we think the performance is as important as the music, and so a lot of bands do. A lot of like metal bands and punk bands, it's like that energy. It's like the whole show is wild, and we really love that kind of attitude. And we know it's great to go see mellow bands play, but sometimes it can get a little boring. So it's like It's important to us to play every show like it's our last show because it's a privilege to be able to do this. And if we don't do that, then like, what are we doing really?
Ain't no one else, nothing else but us right now. And I ain't need nothing else, no one else but you and I.
That song was actually, to be honest, the riff is like a variation of a riff that I wrote when I was like 15. But then we wrote lyrics to it in the first writing session for the new album. It was like probably one of the first 3 songs.
And it ain't me, it ain't you, it's only us, it's us right now. You and
LA was amazing. I'd never spent a winter in a place with like sunshine, like hot weather. And so I was able to surf every weekend. I was like skateboarding in the mornings before recording. And it was amazing. It was a really, really good experience for us.
ain't no one else, nothing else but us right here. You and I, no one else, nothing else but you and I.